Hey guys, this is Andrew and
Vidal.
Vidal here. We wanted to go over a couple other basic things. Today what we're going to talk about, we're going to spend a little bit of time. We're assuming you're just getting started in online marketing in one way or another, or just some kind of business and you're wanting to start that business online. You want to build a website. So whether that's digital education and e-learning, and you've got this amazing platform, all sorts of fantastic educational products that you want to get out to people. How do you get that started? You've got an e-commerce site that you want to get going and you're trying to figure out who to reach there, or you've got a brick and mortar store, you've got a service business like I used to have, and you're trying to reach clients and you need a web presence. What the heck do you do? So Vidal, I know you've been doing this a lot longer than I have. You've been working online forever and really kind of got in building websites and web and everything else. So assuming I'm getting started in building a website, and I want to try and do a lot of this on my own, and we can talk about the benefits of outsourcing, a little bit as well, and maybe on another video a little more in depth. But assume I want to get started. What's kind of my first step?
One of the first steps I would suggest is looking for a domain.
Okay.
Domain can be as basic as .com to even as remedial as a .mobile site.
Okay, so when we're talking about getting a domain name, you need a website name for your website, right? And so the domain is what they're going to type in, the www dot. And I know a lot of you probably know that, but just for some of you that don't. So, all right, I need a domain name. Where do I go? What do I do?
I would suggest going to GoDaddy or even Google's on domain.
Okay.
And there you can find some resources that will help you create a domain, and even suggestions as well.
Okay. So, and there's a number of different places you can find a domain. GoDaddy's one that you're probably familiar with. You've seen the Super Bowl commercials. Google obviously has theirs. What's the benefit of using a place like that?
Well, one of the key benefits is, there are domains that are about to expire. There are domains that aren't available. And there are domains that you may have not even thought about. They'll give you suggestions if one domain isn't available at all.
Okay. Yeah, because a lot of those really cool names that you guys have thought of are probably already taken. If it's super simple, odds are somebody's got it. So you may need to get a little creative. What do you need to look for though when you're picking your name? What's an important
one
thing?
Of the key things I tell clients as well as students is keeping it simple. If it's too hard to spell, if it's too hard to write out on a paper, or if it's too hard for your friend to even spell it out, then you may not want to go that route on that domain.
Yeah, if every time you talk about it, every time you bring it up, someone goes, wait, how do you write that? Mm-hmm. What is that again? If it's too complicated, it's not going to work real well. You want your clients to be able to find you, whether that's organically, or if they just hear it. You don't want some crazy name and really weird spelling. As unique as you think you may be, you're going to make it difficult for your clients to find you, and that's the exact opposite of what we're trying to do. So we need to keep it simple. We go to one of these sites that helps us find one that's available. Mm-hmm. And then nowadays you can pick a .com, a .me, .net, all sorts of things. Okay. So how much is that going to run me?
It varies. It varies from $14.99 to even using online coupons. If you go to Google search, GoDaddy coupons, you can find a various amount of different coupons you can use, as well as other domain sites.
Okay. So, first thing you do, like we just saved you a little bit, just go find a coupon first. And one of the key things I know, they offer like a 1 year.
Yeah.
But what should you probably do there?
I would go the route of extending a domain for 2 years.
Yeah.
Within that first year, you kind of don't want to lose that domain if you don't have auto notifications, auto renewals.
Right.
And it expires. Sometimes you lose that domain for years because that other person that's trying to buy Vidal Fonseca bought the domain for 5 years.
Right. And we saw that in the election with Jeb Bush running, and Trump and everything. Anyway, so yeah, that's one of those important things, as you're building a business, because you're in it for the long haul, right? You're building something that's going to last. And I'm a year into this. I'm 11 months into building my business. The thing that's not like front and center is, oh my gosh, I got to remember to re-register for my domain. So you want to make sure you take care of that ahead of time. And guys, 2 years is like $25. And what we're probably going to do in a follow-up video, we'll do a video showing you on GoDaddy, how to buy a site, and then walking through that. So it'll be fairly simple. We'll make sure that we do that. All right, so we've gone in and we bought our domain name. I know I'm gonna, name it AndrewDavidOnline.com, whatever. Vidal Fonseca Online. So we've got our domain name, and now what's our next step?
Now the hosting. The hosting is where you select from Linux to Windows base, and there you have the opportunity to find out. I'm going to go on the route of creating an email for my domain. Am I going to figure out the hosting? How much space do I need? From that aspect, now.
What's the easiest way to do that? Like as
I
simple
would go
as
with
possible.
the basic bundle, basic economy bundle for any type of hosting.
Okay.
You're safe on, because right now your business is so small. You kind of want to gauge it in reference to performance.
Okay, so what's a basic hosting with a couple of emails? What's that going to cost
I
me?
would say about $99.
About $100. Okay, so you're looking at 15 to 25 bucks for your domain to own that domain, right? And then $79, $129, somewhere in that range, about $100 to host it
Exactly.
per year. Okay.
And in reference to that, if you're looking for a basic bundle, should come with some type of email platform, control panel.
Okay.
It should give you the ability to add WordPress or at least a couple of sites as opposed to a limited site scale.
Okay, so Google and GoDaddy probably have that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. Also.
So, all right, so you can get that. So now I've figured out who's hosting it. I've got my domain name, and then what do I do from there? Assuming I'm doing it. This is assuming, guys. One thing I want you to understand, at this point, some people start to get overwhelmed. They start going, oh my gosh, and really we want you to help understand that it's not as difficult as you think a lot of times, right? They make it so much easier now. This isn't, 15 years ago when you got started.
It was all code.
Yeah, you writing your own code. And now I can go to GoDaddy, I can do this and that, and then if I want to, if I'm not trying to pay someone else to do it, I can just click and drop and ship. Right?
Yeah, two sites that I do recommend if you want to do the drag and click options is Wix and Weebly.
Okay.
GoDaddy has a great one.
So Wix is just W-I-X.
W-I-X, exactly.
And then how do you spell Weebly?
Weebly, W-E-E-B-L-Y.
Okay. So and those then have like templates that you can work with? Okay.
And GoDaddy as well. GoDaddy has a overnight site that they assuming add another $50 to it. You can get a decent site up for 12 months.
Right. And so a lot of these guys, even if you want something quick, right? Now, if you're wanting a site that converts, because I've made the mistake of having a site that was up, and so I had a web presence, and we had, I tried to do an e-com, was my first thing, trying to sell Disney products, and the site didn't convert at all, which was awesome. And we'll talk about, cost per clicks and client acquisition, and getting the clients to go from seeing your site to staying on your site to following a call to action, actually buying something from you, because that's what it's all about. Unless you're just wanting to say you have a website, the odds are that we're doing this to be able to make some kind of money, right? So all right, so we've picked Wix or WordPress.
All right.
Or is WordPress compatible with Wix? Or are they two different
They're
things?
two different entities.
Okay.
WordPress started out as a blog feature or a blog site, but it has a number of developers develop on WordPress. They're giving you the opportunity to add functionality or pre-formatted systems they can add to WordPress. With Wix and Weebly, you kind of have to go with their system itself.
With what they've got.
With what they got.
So WordPress has stuff, but you can plug into it other features.
Yeah, from analytics to SEO to video content to even an Instagram. If you have an Instagram account, it can actually, as soon as you post your Instagram post, it goes straight to your site.
Okay. So all my social media updates I can do, I can get to automatically update to my website.
Exactly.
How does that help if, with Google looking at it, or how would that help my website?
Google, the aspect I give to my students is that Google eats away at it. Any new content, anything that deals with the aspect of new media, new posts, new videos, they just eat away. It's like a Pac-Man, the old school example.
I'm good. Yeah, you start talking about video games and food. I'm all about it.
Pac-Man needs those little pellets to get energy, and then he gets the super pellets. So the super pellets are like Google, the Bing, the search engines.
Okay.
And they kind of need that content to survive.
So you're continually adding content. So that's one reason why when you're picking a site, if you're doing it yourself, or if you're working with a developer, and so this is where we'll talk more in another episode about working with outsourcing and having someone else do it, right? But if either way, it's important to continually add content then.
Exactly. And cool things about even working with WordPress and a lot of content management systems, it's all implemented there. It's all there for you to structure. You may need a programmer or even a designer to understand the functionality, but having a CMS there, content management system.
Okay, CMS, content management system. Okay.
It helps you implement a lot of the key stuff that's going to work for your brand, for your products and services. You know, you don't want to stay all day on your computer logging into separate accounts to post. You want to make sure that one area, I'm going to post this on Facebook, it's going to go through all my other.
So I don't have to do 100 different things separately each and every time.
Exactly.
You know, find ways, guys, to automate, to lessen the amount of work that you do. That's the point of you know, taking that step of being an entrepreneur. It's all about having that time freedom. And if I'm trying to learn all this stuff, you know, it can be overwhelming. It absolutely can. I can understand that. But if you've got something, you know, with some of the functionalities that they have now, you can post once or twice and it hits everything. So when we say talking about hitting other platforms, we post on our WordPress account and it'll go to my Facebook and my Instagram and it'll hit Twitter and it'll do all of that stuff. And that way you're able to keep things rolling.
Yeah, the best thing I learned from you is to manage your time. And you want to be able to
Learn from me. I love that. Because I'm horrible with my time, but that's what I've had to learn to do.
Yeah, you do want to maximize the amount of time that you're putting on one media, so that way you focus your intentions on other aspects of your business.
Right, because especially when you're getting a business started, guys, there's this mental fatigue that happens for so many entrepreneurs because everything looks bright and shiny, and you know the feeling of I've got to do this, I've got to do this, and then you only do half on each thing. So if you find things that can limit, so that you maximize your strengths and talents, you know, and here's one of those things, guys, the reality of this, and again, talk about it in another video, but I'm not the best designer. He's phenomenal at IT stuff, and so a lot of the stuff that we do, I know I'm going to rely on him, but I understand my weaknesses, and I understand a lot of what's going on, but I know it's going to take me a lot more. Now, if I'm paying someone to develop a site, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm paying for that service, guys. So if you don't want the headache, understand that, you know, you're paying someone else for their expertise. Otherwise, you're going to spend time learning it, and you got to be willing to do one or the other, right? And so time's going to play a factor in that.
Especially in the realm of you're starting your own business, you kind of want to gauge out your time frame in reference to developing the site, how long it's going to take to develop it. Then the marketing aspect to it. Am I going to use the platforms of social media? Am I going to go into AdWords to market my business? Yeah,
and this is where understanding who your client is plays a big role, right? Like if I've got an electronics product, I'm not going to just name my site, andrewsblog.com, because no one's going to come looking for electronics, right? I got everything. You have to understand the big picture when you're doing it. And when you say time, not only is your time important, but the time for your business and how long it's going to take to achieve certain things. You can get a business up and going so much faster now than ever before, but it does take time, right? And odds are, even when you automate things, even when you tap into some of the amazing programs that we get to work with that do a lot of that stuff for you, they help you with sales funnels, do all this stuff. Listen, guys, it still sometimes takes a little bit longer, a little bit more work, but it's possible. Because what are the flip side of that? You know, if you keep doing what you're doing, I'd either still be cleaning carpets or I'd still be at that timeshare company answering phones and
I totally agree.
doing stuff that is, life would be different.
Life would be so different, yeah.
So, guys, we wanted to kind of give you a basic intro to building a site. And we're really just touching on it, So we've picked WordPress and we've worked with, I'm going to use WordPress because now I understand the content afterwards. So this is where we're talking about constantly updating. If you're updating, you've got to be comfortable with that platform, right? So this is where kind of checking out WordPress or Wix or Weebly is
and you
important.
can choose whatever medium fits you. If I give props or kudos to Wix and Weebly, where you drag and drop. If you're new to web design, let's go with Wix and kind of figure out what an H1 or how to deal with reference tags. And it gives you that confidence level. That you go, maybe my next step is kind of go into WordPress. Maybe I need to hire or a campaign manager or developer to guide me for the first few months in how to deal with WordPress.
Right. Yeah, are you making this a pathway to your dream, and it's going to be enough that you're going to invest your time and effort, money into doing that? And yeah, find the one that fits, because afterwards you got to keep adding to it. It's not just a plug and done and walk away and hey, I'm good. You got to keep that thing going.
Yeah, because the sites of yesterday that were like what I say that were family sites are not the same. You got to keep everything new, fresh. I call them freshies.
Yeah, Google's looking for that all the time too, right? They want new, fresh content.
Again, I say they eat away at it, but having fresh content is going to make you buyable or make you knowledgeable on that product or service that you're offering.
Right. So it helps in your Google, in your analytics, and it plays a tremendous role for your customers.
Exactly.
Right? You're not the old guy that's still trying to sell a tube TV. Mm-hmm. You show that you've got new products, because the world is changing so fast. You've got to keep up and just go through it, right? So your website has to be one that you can add content to as well. That's really important. So once we've got up and we've got our CMS as the customer management system software.
Which one? System, I say system, but it's a content management system.
Okay, content management system. And we pick WordPress and we get it up. And we get it running. We've used our domain and we've paid for a couple of years so that we do it right. We've got an email set up. So after that, now I want to start going after clients.
All right. So you got to provide different mediums that you can use. I say mediums because I come from the art field. So you got your AdWords, you got your Bing, you got your Facebook ads, and you actually do have your Google Business.
Okay.
If you look up Google Business, you can actually create a simple, quick way for consumers to find you and your domain.
Okay. So we've got all of those, and then like you said, on Facebook, and we're gonna do a whole series of videos on that. You've got platforms like this, YouTube. You've got Instagram. We've got a blog. You've got your standalone site. You've got links back and forth, and 1,000 other things that we're gonna start talking about. And guys, we don't want you to get overwhelmed. We want you to understand that it's easier than you think. And at the same time, if it becomes too much, you can reach out, right? Like when the tech stuff gets to be too much, I call up Vidal and say, is this even possible? And if he doesn't know, he knows people that do. And if you don't know, you can find it online. So if you guys have questions, go ahead and comment. Let us know. Reach out, message us. We're here to help. Excited for your growth, your journey. We're here to mentor you to freedom as well. Looking forward to it. We'll talk to you guys soon.